Life is hard. There is so much going on in the world. You're busy. You look out into the world, there's so much trauma, so much tragedy, so many sad things going on. And it's frustrating. It's overwhelming. You don't have time. You don't have the ability right now to perhaps look inward and consider your actions. Consider how you treat other people. Consider your behaviors. You don't have time for that. The world is on fire. You need to be spending all of your time with two AirPods in, or ideally one AirPod in. Because if you have one AirPod in, then your other ear is still listening to the world. You need to have one AirPod in and always be consuming political and news-related content. That is what you need to be doing 24/7, because then once you do that, you can argue with people in your head. You can have made-up arguments with family members about politics. You can have made-up arguments with friends, made-up arguments with former people you've known, right? The world is so difficult. You're also busy. You got laundry and dinner to make. That I just don't think we as individuals have time for personal reflection, to consider our actions, to consider the choices that we have made. But oftentimes we feel the need to, and I am here to let you know that you ain't got to do any of that. You don't have to go to therapy, first of all. No one does that. No one actually does that, by the way. I've never done that. Because no one does that. They're made up. I went to sign up. I literally went to sign up for a therapist, and I showed up and nobody was there. There was a whole office building. There was a lady working the front desk. I said, "Hello, I have an 8 o'clock appointment with Cassandra." And she was like, "Go home, loser. You're not welcome here. All right, figure it out yourself." Right? So no need to do about that. Don't don't journal. If you're going to journal random thoughts about the world, or just write down random things like Bing Crosby and his Christmas products stare at me as I try to write in the library. I wrote that down just an hour ago. See, journal that stuff. Journal about what's going on. Journal about the things you see. Don't journal about your thoughts and feelings. You don't have time to process those. We don't know. Canada is on fire. Indiana continues to exist as a state for some reason. We have continued to allow the state of Indiana to exist, despite the fact that, other than basketball, a sport that, let's be completely honest, has completely fallen off. The NBA is boring to watch because the players are so good, it's impossible to play defense, and the regular season doesn't mean anything. And college basketball isn't fun anymore, particularly men's basketball, because you don't know any of the players, because they play for your team for one season and then they go somewhere else. Right? Take Caitlin Clark in the Indiana Fever, boop, 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 put him in Columbus, Ohio, for all I care. We continue to allow Indiana to exist as a country. We have not. How have we let that happen for centuries at this point? So again, the world is on fire. I only listed off two things there. I said something about Canada and Indiana. Those are just two specific examples. There are literally billions of examples about how the world is terrible and how the world is on fire. And so you don't have time to reflect on what you've done. And that's why I'm encouraging you. You're not the problem. You're not the problem. Everyone else is the problem. If everyone else could get their junk together, everything would be fixed. But that's not going to happen. So all you can do is sit around and continue to learn more and more about what is going on. You're not the problem. You've never done anything wrong. And if you have done something wrong, okay, does it matter? Does it matter if I have ran my car into the discount furniture across the street? Not in the grand scheme of things. Not as long as the state of Indiana, and not as long as we allow the state of Indiana to exist, there is nothing I could do that would be remotely close to being as bad as what is going on in that state. I mean, that state that's hell on earth. The state of Indiana. Ugh, the people, the land, none of it is good. I just, I think that if you're going to spend the time to reflect on what you've done, if you're going to look at yourself in a theoretical mirror and think about your actions, I think you're being selfish. I think you're selfish if you want to go to therapy to improve yourself. You want to improve yourself? Hey, buddy, we gotta fix the world first. Why are you spending time on yourself? It makes no sense. Why would you go to the gym to try to improve your physical health when the people in Indiana continue to breathe in whatever is in that air? There's something depressing in that air, by the way. I don't know how people live in Indiana for more than a year without committing acts of violence. Which, by the way, had they done that, I also would not encourage them to reflect on what they've done. That's not even true. This video is kind of falling off the rails. All right, y'all have a good one. Be safe. Go to therapy. All right, have a good one.